So today I want to talk about projects aren't finished, they're just abandoned. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Stein, and today I'm sending you a video, making a video from vacation. I'm here on the beach, just hanging out, and as you can see, there's not really anybody around. And I was thinking about, I received an email this morning from this book editor, and I haven't really talked about this at all really on my channel, but I've been making a book, wrote a book a long time ago actually, and it's just been going through the editorial process with the publisher, and I got an email today saying that it was done and that it would be moving towards the final stages of publication. And if you're interested in that at all, you can check out my LinkedIn or whatever and get more information on that. But it made me start to think about projects not being finished, but rather abandoned. And for me, what that means is that I think a lot of us, and I'm speaking of myself, I often think that things have to be perfect, or I question when things are done, and often it's a feeling of things aren't ready. That can bring out feelings of insecurity, feelings of anything, maybe a project, whether it's music or a book or whatever, not being adequate enough for release. And one of my professors way back, maybe 12 years ago, told me, he said, projects aren't ever really finished, they're just abandoned. And it was a joke, he was being funny, but that stuck with me a long time, because it's real easy to be finished with something and kind of put it away and release it even, and then you go back to it and you have hindsight that's better than maybe your perspective at the time when you were finishing it up, or even when you were making it. And the idea that projects aren't finished but abandoned is that you could always spend the rest of your life working on the same project, fixing it, fine-tuning it. And I think for me that those desires to constantly want to tweak something or change something isn't a reflection on whether the project's finished or not, but rather that I'm going to constantly be changing. I'm going to constantly be growing, and my perspective's going to change. And as much as I like to think that I'm, the same as I was 10 years ago or even 2 years ago, I'm not. And my perspective changes. The things that I want to say or express are going to be different than they were in the past. And so I think it's helpful to think about abandoning projects. And by that I mean choosing when to end something that you're working on. It's never going to be perfect. There's no real idea of perfection. I think we think there is. I think there is, but it doesn't really exist. That project that I finished a long time ago probably was ready and has been ready for a long time, but my idea of it's not ready is coming from maybe new knowledge that I have, or a different perspective, or just the underlying insecurities of wanting things to change. I wonder what you think about that. I wonder if maybe when you're making something, especially when you're just starting out and getting a hang of your quote unquote craft, or your projects, your things that you're interested in making, if you struggle with the idea that something has to be perfect, maybe start thinking of things or your projects as chapters in your life, or during a specific time or season, and know that your perspective is going to be different in the next season, in the next chapter of your life. And if you never finish projects out of fear that it's not perfect or complete, maybe try to start looking at your projects as things that you eventually you do what you feels best, you do what feels right according to your tastes, not according to other people. That you don't consider fear of failure, you don't consider what other people are going to think necessarily, but you do what you think is right for that particular project, and you actively choose to abandon it or to let it go, to put it out and to let it just exist wherever it is, whether that's on the internet or in a book or on paper, or even just maybe it's a talk or a speech or something that you've written that's performed. I'd be interested in hearing what your thoughts are on this. If you would, leave a comment and maybe talk about something that you worked on for a really long time that you may have felt insecure about, or maybe felt that, how is this ever going to be finished? Is it finished? Should I just let it go? And maybe even share, what that was like, letting go of a project that you were working on and moving forward. As always, I appreciate you watching the channel. I appreciate if you'd subscribe and like the video. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Projects aren't finished. They're abandoned. We'll see you again next time.